Okay guys, hello! Update video for my 25 little fans that I have following me, and they like to, hear updates. So, hello, I'm gonna give you guys a good old update, and I'm gonna drink coffee while I do it too. Okay guys, so I guess, guys, it's alright. It's been a while since I posted my last video, but not a ton has changed. I'm still not living in Timber, but I might be moving back in the winter time. Seems like I'm always living in Timber when it's winter time. I don't know why. Like, winter's a weird time to live in a camper, right? I've been talking to Jesus a lot, because we talk a lot, I'm like, hey Jesus, what's going on up there? I need to unload some stuff here. I need to just chat with you. And he's like, alright, I got it here. So I've been talking to Jesus a lot, and I've just been kind of feeling it on my heart to like do a art hibernation during the winter, like a bear. Although I'll still be eating and I'll still be awake. I won't be asleep like a bear. But so like an art hibernation to me is like just hunkering down and just like focusing and spending a lot of time doing art and projects. And so it looks like I'm just gonna like move back onto the farm, my childhood home, and just live in Timber, because like, I don't know, I'm an adult, I want to have my own place, so I'm gonna still live in Timber. So it's kind of fun. It's like a turtle, I just took my whole home and just came back home, but I'm living in my little home. So I'm gonna be doing that this winter, I think. So that's exciting. I actually have really missed living in Timber. I visited a friend a while back, and they had like an Airbnb that was a little camper just like mine. I'm like, I miss my little camper, So, guys, some advice for you guys. If some of y'all are like looking for a camper, like an old vintage camper to like refurbish and live in, or just like camp in or whatever, I highly recommend getting the Airstreams or Avions, cause like just the old ones, cause like I love Timber, but it seems like every time I move her, she just, she sways a lot, and she's got loose joints like an old, she's an old granny camper, and so she seems like she kind of can spring leaks pretty easy. And I just if you're going to be traveling a lot in an old camper, I highly recommend getting the Avion or the Airstreams, because I love Timber, but man, the leaks are just killing me. I think a lot of the windows is part of the issue with her. Like, she's got some windows I need to redo. But anyway, me and my dad are going to make like a little lean-to to pop her under. And so like, the rain won't be raining on her. So I'm going to be excited about that. So we're going to be working on that this fall. And then I'll be moving in this winter sometime. Not sure exactly when. So yeah. And also, this is Stormy. I'm in Stormy. I've been driving Stormy. Oh, he's such a gas hog. At least gas is kind of cheap right now. Hopefully it won't go up with the hurricane. We'll see. So some of y'all are familiar with my little red car that I usually drive around, because I usually save this guy just to pull timber, because, it's that gas hog. So my little car has been having some hissy fits, and I'm like, I'm done driving my car. I just need something reliable. And so I've been driving Stormy. But anyway, so I thought I'd share y'all a story with y'all. So, Sunday story time with coffee with Squirrel, guys. Yeah. Right. So the issue that's going on with my little red car, so this is a really exciting story, but I had to like kind of tell you what's going on with it so you can kind of understand. And guys, also disclaimer, I'm a super young person and I make mistakes all the time, and I'm just learning as life goes, so don't judge me. Okay, so my little red car has been having hissy fits, and essentially a hissy fit is where it's just not working, and it should be working when it's not. So what's going on with my car, it's a stick shift, and it's a Nissan Versa, and they're kind of lower grade car. They have cheap parts, but they're easy to buy because they're cheap, but they also break because they're cheap. Somehow, I've done a ton of research. I've asked a whole bunch of mechanics. I actually haven't yet taken it to a legit shop yet, but I've like picked a bunch of master mechanics' brains about what to do, and they're all like, just replace the clutch. I'm like, well, it's not actually the clutch. So what's going on is that somehow it's intaking air in the clutch line, but like, it's not leaking any fluid. It's just intaking air somehow. And so like, me and my dad would replace the master cylinder and replace all these parts, which I'm sure some of you guys don't really care to hear about, like the clutch dampener and all that stuff. and everything but the slave cylinder, because slave cylinder's in the actual compartment with the clutch, and it would take forever to get to it. It'd be like a $300 job, because might as well replace a clutch if I'm going to open the whole thing up. Anyway, so somehow it's intaking air, and it seems like every time we bleed it, and after I bleed it, it seems like the more I drive it, somehow it just intakes more and more air. So like, I was kind of getting by with it during the winter, but I think the summer kind of like heated it up, and it's just like the air bubbles expand even more. So so like every time I come back up to Kentucky, we replace a part on it, and I'm like, this time it's gonna be fixed, it's gonna be great. And so I go back down to Tennessee, and it's not. And I'm like, great, now I have to figure out how to get my car back up to Kentucky so that I can try to replace another part on it. And so this last time that ooh, it's raining outside. This last time that sorry, coffee burp. This is the last time that I came up with it and just switched out the truck with the car. It was quite an adventure. So, I got up that morning. I was like, I'm going to take my car up to Kentucky. It's going to be great. So, another key thing that I need to tell you guys. So, I can't take the back roads, because the back roads, well, essentially what happens is that driving it around for 15 minutes in the city, it's fine. Like, there's something about, like, compressing, if I'm using the pedal a lot, it compresses the air and it's fine. But like if I hit the highway or another like road for 30 minutes and I'm not touching the clutch much because I'm in the same gear and I'm going the same speed, the air bubbles expand, and then the clutch just goes to the floor, and I have I can't switch gears. So like it's just like spongy all the way. And so when I'm on like the highway, essentially, so what I've been doing is that I get to the highway, which is like 10 minutes from my house. I drive all the way up to Kentucky and all the way up to my exit, and I get off on the exit, and then I pull over, and then I compress the clutch so that I can get the pedal back again. And it's been getting to the point where it's so bad that I can't even get it to compress. So I had to start it in gear in order to even move. And then I would like start it in third gear, and then I just ride it through third gear all the way home. And like there was actually several times where like someone was in front of me and I had to stop because they were like slowed down to pull into a drive, and I'm like, I'm stuck, I have to start it in gear again. Oh my gosh, what if someone comes swinging behind me? You know, these old Kentucky high roads, they're like, you know, they have curves, they have like steep hills, and the people are zipping around them, and like a bump right into me. So I was like freaking out. I'm like, oh my gosh. And so it's guys, seriously, I've been traumatized slightly. Like I was driving my friend's car, and I was like pulling over onto the exit. I'm like, oh, why do I have so much anxiety? Oh, because whenever I get off the exit on my car, like my clutch is down to the floor and I'm like stuck. And so hopefully you're all following me. I think this might be slightly confusing. But anyway, so essentially in order to get it up to Kentucky, I have to ride the highway and I cannot stop. If I stop, I'm stuck. And then like when I get to my exit, I can take the country roads in third gear. I can get away with that. And even though I'm going kind of slow, people are like honking at me, but it's not such a big deal as like getting stuck in the middle of like a road where I'll be doing a lot of stops or curving around, slowing down behind cars that'll stop, and stop signs, stop lights. And so essentially I'll drive for 2 hours on the highway and then pull over on my exit and then start in third gear. And that was like how bad it was. And so this one morning I was like, I'm going to take my car up to Kentucky, I'm going to get my truck, and it's going to be great, but I just got to make it there because it's so bad. Like I have to start it in gear. Like I can't even get my clutch back after like I pull over. Like it just won't come back. And so anyway, so essentially like I have to drive to the highway, and then I cannot stop until I get to my exit, and then I get home in third gear by starting my car in third gear. And also, guys, by the way, starting your car in gears, from what I understand, is not the most healthiest thing for your spark plugs. So I knew that I couldn't keep doing that. Okay, so that morning I walk out, and I'm armed with my nice big cup of tea, and I got all my stuff packed in the car, and I'm like, yeah, that's gonna do this. I'm gonna make it up there. It's gonna be great. And so I hop in the car and I'm driving. I get to the interstate. Everything's good. My clutch is still fine because I've been driving it just around town all day. And so I get on the highway, 15 minutes in, my clutch is like completely useless. I'm like, all right, I'm in for the long haul. Let's make it up there to Kentucky. And so I'm driving along, I'm drinking my tea, I'm listening to some jams, some old tunes, some oldie and goodies, because my grandma's really influencing on me. She likes all those old songs, like from the 30s. I'm listening to all those good songs, drinking my tea, it's all great. And then, halfway there, so I'm like an hour in, I have to go because I drank my tea. I had a big old thing of tea and I drank it all, and I'm like, oh no, I need to go to the bathroom, guys. I was like, oh my gosh. And like, you know, like sometimes you're like, I can kind of hold it, but no, I could not. I'm like, I need to pull over. I don't know what to do. And so, like, going off on an exit to like a gas station was not an option because that's way too many stops. I would be stuck. I would be stranded. I'm like, I can't do that. And so I tried to like figure out what I was gonna do. And so I was like, okay, so I'm definitely gonna have to find a bush here because I cannot get off on a rest stop. It's just not gonna work. I'm gonna be stranded. And so that week I actually had okay, so I don't know if it's because of my car's newer or what, or if it's just a cheaper car, but like I know that you can like drive it without a clutch after you get it started. So like if I start it in gear, I had watched a YouTube video, and I know people have told me this too, that you can actually, you know, rev up your RPMs and actually like stick, kind of like nurse your little clutch or nurse your stick into the next gear and like keep speeding up and then rev your engine and then you can go up to the next gear. So I knew that you could actually drive your car without a clutch, but for some reason like my car would just, it didn't want to do it. And so I was like, well, I know maybe like if I go high enough RPMs, maybe I'm not doing it right. Maybe I can figure out how to do it. And so, sorry guys, this video is really long. It's just a really good story. And so I formulated this plan. So I searched for the most optimal spot to pull over. So essentially I needed a nice straight spot where there's a hill so I can use the hill to speed up. And so I found this nice little spot. I'm like, I think this is the spot. And it's kind of funny too because you're going so fast on the highway and you're like, I think that's the spot. Well, I passed it. Oh well. Okay, so I found this spot and I'm like, this is the spot. I'm just going to slow down and pull over. So I put my blinker on, pulled over and slowed down, and put my flashers on, and I try to get as far over as I can because I know this is kind of dangerous to like pull over on the side of the highway. And so I hop out of the car on the other side. Like I didn't come out on this side because, you know, there's cars everywhere. And so I hop out of this side, I run down the hill, and I find myself a bush, and I was like, oh my gosh, life is so good. I was like, I feel so good. So I relieved myself and I came back up and I was so happy. I just didn't care. I was like, I don't know if I'm stranded here now, but I'm just so happy. I was like, never again will I drink that much tea on the highway when I know that I can't stop. And so I got in my car and I'm like, okay, so my next thing to do is I know I need to start in gear. So I was like, okay, I'm going to start it in second gear since I'm on a hill. So I got my stick in the gear, and then the next thing I did, I looked in my rear view mirror and my side mirrors, and I tried to find a spot in the highway where there was like no cars. And so I was looking, I was like, okay, Jesus, I'm gonna need your help me time this perfectly. And so like, and actually my spot was better than I even thought because there was a second hill behind me where I could actually see if there was like no cars back there. And so I sat there for a few minutes and I saw this nice spot where there's no cars. And gosh, it was a Sunday and there were so many cars on the highway. And so I was looking back there and then I saw this blank spot. I'm like, that's the spot. I'm like, quick, Jesus, tell me when I need to go. And then I was like waiting and waiting. I'm like, okay, I think now. It's still way far back there, but I know those cars are going fast. So I was like, okay. And so I'm like, I think this now. And so I started my car, and you know, like when you start your car in gear, it's like, so my little car's like jerking around, and finally it catches. I'm like, yes! And so I'm like speeding up. I'm like, okay, let's do this. And so I put it in neutral, and then I like revved up, and then I popped it in the next gear. I'm like, it's working! Oh my gosh! And so I just kept speeding up, and I just like made sure those RPMs were way up there because I think before I just wasn't high enough RPMs when I tried to do it before. And so I just like kept revving up, and then I pop in the next gear. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's working! I was like such on a high. And then as soon as I was in fifth gear, I'm like, okay, I think I can go. And so I look over, and behold, that blank spot was right next to me. I'm like, thank you, Jesus! And so I put my blinker on, and I pulled over, and I merged, and then I revved up again and got my sixth gear, and I'm like, ah! Anyway, guys, sorry for the long video, but that's a nice story for y'all to enjoy. So that's why I'm driving Stormy right now, and I'm trying not to drive too much because this thing's a gas hog. Anyway, I think my coffee's cold now because I've been yapping this whole time. But yeah, so moving into timber, driving Stormy right now, and doing an art hibernation. Oh, guys, I almost forgot to tell you. I started my new YouTube channel. Okay, so it's called Lion Goat Studio because I've been doing a lot of art with this lion and this goat. And so I was like, I don't know what to call it. Everything that I think about calling it's already used. So I just called it Lion Goat Studio. So it's like, you know, the lion, rawr, and a goat that eats everything. And then studio. So you can look that up. I can pop the link below. So yeah, check it out. As of right now, I only have one video on it. But I'm sure if y'all watch this later, I might have more videos. So anyway, check it out, guys. And the video I have on it right now is a time lapse. So it's like a time lapse of art I did on the iPad. So guys, enjoy that, and y'all have an awesome day. Oh, also I wanted to ask y'all a question. So, you know, with COVID and everything, I feel like, oh, I have like a bug in my hair right here. Oh no, it's a leaf. Anyway, during COVID, I feel like a lot of people are pursuing their dreams that they've only dreamed about and never had time to do. Like, I know a ton of my friends are like, I have a friend that's about to release an album because he's like, I've actually had time to like pursue this because, you know, I've been out of work. So comment below if there's like a dream that you all have always dreamed about and you're actually doing it and pursuing it. I would love to hear y'all's dreams, because like my dream is to like sorry, I just had a blank. My dream is to support myself through my art and be my own boss, and so I'm actually doing that, and I'm just so excited about it. Sorry guys, I think this coffee's really made me hyped up. So yeah, comment below what something you guys are doing that's always been your dream and you're actually doing it. So I would love to hear that about that. So anyway, you all have an awesome Sunday or whatever day it is, and chill out.